My girlfriend announced that my predecessor would be lodging with us for several weeks, and I should accept it. I grinned and replied, "Ensure he's at ease." Then I relocated all my belongings to a storage facility and terminated the rental agreement. She and her former partner now must secure alternative housing and justify the situation to the property owner. I, a 28-year-old man, was, or more accurately had been, involved with Jennifer, 27, for 2 years. We had shared residence for the previous year in a respectable 2-bedroom unit. The contract was signed by both of us. Although I covered roughly 70% of the initial deposit, way $400 from $2,000, along with the majority of the furnishings, devices, television, everything belonged to me. I value my possessions. So last Tuesday, Jennifer returned from her job, acting nonchalant, and unleashed this revelation as I prepared the evening meal. Hey, Robert will be residing with us temporarily. Robert, her previous boyfriend. The individual she dated for 5 years prior to me. The one she insisted was long forgotten. I simply gazed at her, utensil in grip. Robert, living here? For what duration? Just a couple of weeks, she remarked, gesturing casually. He's facing difficulties, lost his job, his rental ended abruptly. He requires a spot to stay, and I informed him he could use ours. He arrives Friday. No consultation. No, darling, how do you feel about this? Merely an announcement. My mouth hung open. A couple of weeks. Jennifer, we lack a spare bedroom. That's my workspace. Where will he rest? The sofa is sufficiently cozy, she quipped, glancing at her device. He won't disturb anyone. Just accept it, all right? It's settled. Accepted. My pulse certainly rose. I sensed that surge of fury, the sting of disloyalty. This was our residence, the space I mostly equipped, my haven. And she simply welcomes her ex for an extended period without warning? The absolute boldness. But experience has taught me. Occasionally, the most subdued reaction resonates strongest. I inhaled deeply, forced the serenest grin possible, and stated, "All right, Jennifer, if that's your choice, we ought to ensure he's quite at ease, correct?" She glanced up, taken aback, likely anticipating a dispute. A slight grin formed on her face. "Yes, precisely. Pleased you're handling this maturely." Indeed, I intended to handle it maturely and systematically. That evening, as she slumbered peacefully, I remained alert. I reviewed our rental contract. Clause 8, Part B, Residency. The unit is to be inhabited solely by the signatories on this document. Any extra individuals staying beyond 7 straight days without landlord's prior approval in writing constitutes a significant violation of the agreement. Noteworthy. And Clause 12, ending the contract. Signatories may end this contract with 30 days' notice in writing to the owner. Signatories are responsible together and individually for all duties until the end date. Quite noteworthy. I dedicated the following 2 hours on my computer researching storage rates and relocation service estimates. Robert was scheduled for Friday. I resolved to guarantee he'd be extraordinarily at ease. Update 1. As pledged, I ensured Robert would be at ease. Exceptionally at ease, with ample room he could desire. Robert was expected Friday night. Jennifer was occupied at her job throughout the day. Ideal. I'd arranged professional movers for 10 a.m. Friday. Experts. No inquiries when I instructed them to remove all items that were mine. And that amounted to about 90% of the unit's items. They emptied my king-sized bed and plush mattress, my chest of drawers and bedside tables, the full lounge suite, my L-shaped couch, end table, media stand, 65-inch high-definition screen, audio system, the eating area table and seats, all from my workstation, adjustable seat, displays, computer, scanner, all my cooking tools, premium pans, blades, coffee maker, blender, even my specialty beans. I left her the cracked cups and outdated bread warmer, my attire, reading materials, personal care items. If I purchased it, it departed. By 3 p.m., the unit echoed emptily. I retained her bed, hers from before our meeting, her wardrobe, her garments, and a few minor things I disregarded. The refrigerator contained her partially consumed dairy and some faded greens. Prior to departing, I composed a message and set it on the cooking area surface. Jennifer. Ensured Robert will be extra at ease with all this openness. Since you chose he's joining without input, I've chosen to depart, also without input. Equality, yes? I've submitted our 30-day termination notice to Mr. James, the owner, per our terms. You and Robert, presumably, must leave by the date 30 days from Friday. Reach out to Mr. James promptly to explore your choices. Savor your period with Robert. Michael. I placed my keys beside the message, glanced around once more, and exited. My items were in a temperature-regulated storage space. I'm staying with my friend David. He has an extra room and considers this epic. The call arrived around 6:30 p.m. Jennifer, frantic. Michael. What in the world? Where is all the stuff? Where are you? I allowed her to rant. I read your message, Michael. You cannot do this. This is our home. You're acting like a brat. I maintained composure. Jennifer, you issued a one-sided decision. You instructed me to accept it. So I did. I eliminated myself and my items. The termination is submitted. It's finalized. You can't simply terminate the contract. I reside here. Robert just arrived. What will we manage? The self-importance was evident in each phrase. We, that appears to be a you and Robert issue. Not mine, I responded. You have 30 days. Begin searching. Or maybe Robert's difficulties will suddenly improve. She yelled further, insulted me extensively, claimed I aimed to leave her without shelter, labeled me a spiteful jerk. Perhaps I am, but I refuse to be trampled. Truthfully, it hurt. Packing 2 years of a partnership, even physically, is tough. A wave of sorrow struck, viewing the vacant area. But recalling her arrogant accept it, the sorrow faded. She's been flooding my phone. Messages, calls, voice recordings. Robert even attempted calling via her device. I ignored her texts. You must resolve this. Contact the owner. Return your items. This isn't amusing. Well, I find it somewhat humorous, and I plan no resolution for her predicament. More to come. The upcoming weeks will be revealing. Update 2. A week has passed since Operation Ensure Robert's Ease. The pure, unchecked self-importance from Jennifer and her new housemate Robert is staggering. They truly appear to view this as a simple error. I must rectify. Primarily, they've taken no steps toward new housing. No inquiries, 0. It's as if disregarding the 30-day notice will erase it. Hint, it won't. Without my couch, they purchased an inflatable bed for Robert, which I've learned through David he's grumbled about endlessly. The ground isn't as cozy as Jennifer proposed. Her messages shifted to commanding demands. Michael, enough of this. Contact Mr. James. Inform him of your error immediately. Robert is uneasy on that budget inflatable. Return your bed, or minimally the couch. You're rendering us without home. Locating options is difficult. You are responsible for our anxiety and relocation expenses due to your actions. My mother is livid. She called you harsh and erratic. Then arrived the supporters. Jennifer's closest friend, Susan, phoned. I once appreciated Susan. Michael, hello. Jennifer's devastated. You know her sensitivity. How could you desert her? And Robert's a kind person, facing hard times. He feels awful. Susan. Jennifer welcomed her ex without my input and said accept it. I accepted it. This concerns Jennifer's disrespect. But you avoided discussion. You escalated drastically. She was aiding a companion. You're exaggerating. Act maturely and resolve. Maturity doesn't mean submission, Susan. They must handle their housing. Ended call. Robert texted from Jennifer's device. I blocked his contact. Hey, buddy. Michael, correct? Jennifer's upset. No grudges. But it'd be nice if you fixed the contract issue. Sort of ruining the vibe, you know. We plan to relax. The audacity. No reply. I discovered via David. They've portrayed me as the antagonist. A domineering, jealous maniac. The story twist is remarkable. The owner, Mr. James, reached out to verify the termination. Straightforward, man. I affirmed my plan to leave and that my areas would be clear. He replied positively. I'll reach Ms. Jennifer regarding her responsibilities, the exit check, and the unapproved resident, Mr. Robert, I assume. Indeed him. Mr. James seemed displeased. I messaged Jennifer. Mr. James will reach you about the termination, check, and your unapproved visitor. You have until the date, now roughly 18 days to depart. No bargaining. Her reply. You reported to the owner. You're attempting to destroy my existence. You'll regret one underhanded move. Jennifer asserted my coffee maker and sound-blocking earphones were present and insisted on return. I possess proofs. Sent her images. Good attempt. They also accessed my streaming services. Access revoked. David and I are using my subscriptions. The pressure affects them, but insufficiently for action. They're mired in fury and accusation awaiting my bailout. Won't occur. Time is running out. Update 3. The 30-day period has ended. The consequences? Precisely as anticipated when self-importance confronts actuality. The satisfaction stemmed from allowing them to stew in the chaos Jennifer created. Mr. James, our owner, isn't one to tolerate nonsense. He arranged a discussion with Jennifer. It went poorly for her and Robert. Evidently, Jennifer attempted the victim role, alleging I'd deserted her, unlawfully ended the contract, and that she and her relative Robert required extension. Mr. James, commendably, rejected it. He noted I adhered to the termination provision flawlessly. One signatory's notice suffices. He confronted Robert. He'd observed him. Reminded Jennifer an unapproved resident was a major breach. Had I not terminated, he would have initiated removal against both for Robert. That silenced Jennifer. Removal threats do that, he stated. Depart by the date. No delays. Exit check and any costs or fees for the unapproved resident would come from the deposit. Jennifer and Robert, confronted with firm deadline and owner rejecting their excuses, finally hurried. They struggled locating new residents. 2 grown-ups. 1 jobless. Recent contract end. Challenging market. Limited time. Best wishes. The day prior to exit, a desperate call from Jennifer. Jennifer, Michael, you must assist. We can't locate anything suitable. Massive deposits. Robert's employment hunt lags. Mr. James is unreasonable about the deposit. Claims we may lose most due to thorough cleaning. And Robert, you're doing, Jennifer. You welcomed your ex to our home. You said accept it. I accepted. This is the outcome of your decisions. But what will we do? We may end in a dump. All because you couldn't handle Robert normally. Normally? You believe your actions normal? Seems a you and Robert dilemma. Then Robert spoke, upset. Listen, guy, you ruined us. We were okay until your ploy, Robert. You were mooching. Jennifer allowed it. The ploy was me declining involvement. You had a month, squandered it expecting my surrender. Poor choice, disconnected. Susan, Jennifer's friend. Final message. Michael, they're in trouble. Can't you aid? Perhaps with deposit funds, I answered. Susan, my focus is my welfare. They created their situation. Cease contact blocked, thus the unit and deposit. This improves. I conducted my check with Mr. James. My areas, sleeping and work, were immaculate. I'd captured dated images upon my exit. Her areas and shared spaces they'd used alone for a month, far from it. Mr. James recorded oily cooking area, marked rug and lounge where Robert's inflatable was, washroom requiring intensive scrub. Full deposit, $2,000. My portion, $1,400. Jennifer's, $600. Mr. James listed scrubbing and handling fees for unapproved resident. Total subtractions, $550. Under shared responsibility, he could have deducted from all. But Mr. James, examining my images and the condition Jennifer and Robert caused, was explicit. He informed Jennifer and verified to me. The issues and fees stemmed clearly from her conduct and guest post my orderly departure. While the contract binds signatories to him jointly, proof indicated blame. He subtracted the entire $550 from Jennifer's $600 portion. He sent me a payment for my complete $1,400. He sent Jennifer $50, fitting retribution. Jennifer was reportedly enraged, but Mr. James had records. Jennifer and Robert did exit on time. David learned they settled in a smaller, inferior unit. The tension evidently strained their renewed bond. Ongoing arguments, astonishing. For me, I'm excellent. Took a week away. Went trekking. Refreshed my mind. New single-bedroom unit. Another neighborhood. Tranquil. My items suit. Coffee maker operating. Short melancholy for the partnership I believed in, but her conduct revealed the regard was unbalanced. Her self-importance. Readiness to sacrifice me for her ex, an eye-opener. Occasionally garbage removes itself. Sometimes you provide a strong push. No sudden remorse from Jennifer or Robert. No regrets. Merely bitterness their easy path concluded, and they encountered grown-up results. Frankly, the most genuine, gratifying conclusion. Appreciate the space to share, Reddit. It's been a month. Farewell.